It's Soccer City. We've got to add a countdown. We got to get people prepared. We just kind of like pop up. We go live. We got to give them some sort of 60-second countdown to get them ready, to get them prepped for what's going to be a great episode. I'm excited to hear from the Tifos tonight. It should be a phenomenal discussion about the Crown after a 6-1 win over an absolutely heated rival. New York Red Bulls comes to Charlotte and goes home with only a blocked extra point in this game on Saturday night at the Keep. Danny, we're here to talk about this big win. You're here, I think, to revel in this big win. Mm-hmm. So have at it.
Johnny, cheers to you. We're drinking Burial tonight, Surf
Cheers.
Wax, because we're riding the waves of the season, as you always like to say, as you coined the phrase you coined on this show. And we put New Jersey Red Bulls into the ground. So I'm happy to be drinking Burial Brewery tonight. And it's a beautiful thing, Johnny. As you said, it's a rivalry match. It's a Super Six. We rocked him to sleep. Adon Toklamati with the goal celebrations. And, we're going to look at these goals. I have them all clipped off individually, but I also made this super cut of just all 6 in a row, Johnny, because it was so nice to see. It was so beautiful in the stands and just the things that were happening. I was so pissed at myself for not taking a video of that Pep free kick because I knew he was going to score it. And I was like, oh man, I should have made a video of myself watching that because it would have been a social media hit. But it was a night where it just felt like everything was working, Johnny. And just Archie Goodwin comes in and gets a brace, and Vargas scores, and Toklamati scores, and Wilf scores, and Pep scores, and Westwood is man of the match performance according to his manager. And it all played out so beautifully. And it's just so nice to have like one of those matches where everything goes right. And I was worried about this one. I was like, could we actually take a home loss to this team that just always gives us fits and has a history of beating us in the Fortress? They've stormed the Keep before, Johnny. They have stormed it, but we protected the Keep, and we turned defense and offense beautifully. A lot of counterattacks. You saw that a lot of the goals came from long balls forward, and then some of the free kick set-piece goals were taken off of fouls where guys were in breakaways from long balls forward.
Okay,
so
so
long
here's
balls
the big,
were working, and it was
here's the first big question of the episode then. Since we've seen the supercut, we're having fun. What your favorite goal of the night? Which goal was your favorite goal of the night, and why? I'm interested to hear what the chat thinks as well. Shout out to Abram and Justin for hanging out tonight. Freddie's in the chat as well. Look, we've got some great feedback here from Freddie. Everything's working, including the mics. How about that?
You know it, baby.
Hey.
I've taken this TiVo's feedback. The soccer citizens have spoken and said, hey, Mr. Deputy Assistant Dog Catcher of Soccer City, please fix your microphone before the next episode. And it only took me 3 episodes to do it as I hold up 2 fingers. But to answer your question, Johnny, my favorite goal of the night has to be the Zaha banger. I mean, it's just too pretty as you watch it. You see Toffolo the Buffalo, your boy. Don't be surprised if he gets an assist, I think you said on the last episode, and you were proven correct, as he feeds Wilf here. A nice little ball, gets in the ball where he can do something with it. Cut inside, step, fire, golden, unstoppable shot. And great to see Wilf get in the goals. Great to see his celebration. We're going to see him do his famous jump celebration here, I believe, if I've got the clip. We got one more look at it. Just unsavable, one of those beauty shots. And then the jump is where it's at. We love seeing him do that. And Toffolo giving him love, picking him up. It's a beautiful thing. That's my favorite goal of the night, just because we needed to see Wilf score a goal. The form, it was the most skillful open play goal. Even though the set piece goals were nice, it was just the most in the flow of things and just having fun. And it was already 3-0 at that point. That made it 4-0. But that's my favorite, Johnny. How about you?
It's a great answer. How could you go wrong with that one? I am going to go number 6. Archie's goal to get him the brace assisted by Liel Abada here. I absolutely love this goal because it's 2 players combining to score a goal, to put it not just out of reach, but to put Red Bulls in an embarrassing scoreline with Archie Goodwin coming off the bench to score not only his first MLS goal, but a brace in his first appearance excuse me, in a sub appearance. I'm trying to say it's not even a full 90 here for March. Had to work for it. He just to come on and gets his cameo. And that's another thing that we talked about on the show is I was waiting to. It's not that I didn't think Archie could get it done. Archie Goodwin. I didn't think that these players coming in off the bench. I think Tiger Smalls is another player. I would have liked to see him score and get into the goals in this match. Hasn't happened yet. But Liel Abada, a designated player that needs to be playing well, and all of a sudden Archie Goodwin coming off the bench getting his, truly a great goal there for Archie to get a brace. Man, who doesn't love a brace? Archie Goodwin, a Charlotte FC not just goal scorer, gets a brace. How about that?
I think it's fantastic. It's a nice goal. It's a beautiful pick for a favorite goal of yours, Johnny, for multiple reasons, because it's Archie's brace. It's a beautiful play from Abada. It's just a fun goal to watch, and it's also the cherry on top. It's the 6-pointer. It's the sort of the history maker. The 5 was already the most goals Charlotte FC had scored. It was already a club record. And they're like, let's go ahead and put that record a little bit further out of reach and make it 6 on the night. So that was beautiful. I love to see. I did call the Wilf goal. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, K-Dog. Yeah, Keith's checking in.
Chief Keith was sitting with us in the supporters. I called the Pep goal. I called the Wilf goal. I said Wilf's about to score. Right when Toffolo made the pass, I was fairly. Let's call him Drunkstradamus up in the support up in 229, and I threw up the he's about to score, and it paid off. But you mentioned Harry, Archie Goodwin, and Johnny. I want to get because there's two. You asked that the first question tonight was which was your favorite goal, and I saw someone in the chat show out the 5th, the Archie flick on goal, which we'll look at that in a second. We'll look at that after we hear from Archie, because the second question of the night, Johnny, was. When are we going to get the stream kicked off for showing too many highlights? When is YouTube going to give us that little 2 or 3 minute pause button? And will the soccer citizens stick around afterwards enough for us when we inevitably do come back? The third question then becomes who's going to get the first sound bites? And it's going to go to Archie Goodwin for his brace. These were his reactions to the night. And whatever you think about this kid, you cannot help loving, since he's our guy, how much confidence oozes off of him, and you feel like his future is bright, especially after watching this.
It was unreal. I think you could see by my celebration, I was over the moon. I had my veins popping out of my neck. So, I was absolutely buzzing. The home fans are just our extra edge every week. So I'm so grateful for them. As soon as I scored the first one, I kind of felt that I was left 1v1 with the centre back. Yeah. So I knew there'd be more chances for me. So got the second, and really happy. I looked at the pre-season as a time for me to work hard and show the gaffer that I'm really capable of playing, and I think it's confidence. As I said, for a 9, goals are confidence. The first one's come, the second one's come now, so floodgates are open and more to come.
Floodgates are open, baby.
More to come. It's a big statement. It's a confidence statement, and when you're coming off of a brace, sure. Here's the flick on, a beautifully headed goal. Both, by the way, why I think this is 2 great finishes. They're both one-touch finishes. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're strikers' goals.
And the assist from Schnegg, filling in for Toffolo. Both left backs got an assist today. It's beautiful.
Schneggy working down the left side. I love Schneggy. I think he's always a positive player on the pitch. He's somebody great coming off the bench, and I think gives this team a lot of depth, and you can see his class. I mean, the ball, he looks at Archie, and he goes to his left foot, and he literally puts it right on the kid's forehead. It's how you create a professional assist. But I have to add quickly, before we move on, great call with Archie first, because now my vibe is like I see Archie, I see him score these goals, I hear him talk, I'm like, what do I want to do with Archie? I want to, at some point we gotta get to Bondi Beach, we gotta get down to Australia, and we've got to hang. He just looks like a guy I want to have a pint with at a pub after hanging out at Bondi Beach all day, like that, like Bondi Beach. That's really what I'm thinking about when I think about Archie. How cool is it for him to be having this moment in Charlotte. And I love this comment from Justin. Archie, Australian for goals.
That may be comment of the year. That's great. That's a great one for sure. I thought I was clever with the Arch Madness. Archie Australian for goals is beautiful. I love the fact that we can get an Aussie who's here contributing, making things happen, a youngster. Like when Patrick Ajimon was getting ready to leave, we knew we had Toklamati waiting in the wings. I don't think Toklamati is as close to leaving as Patrick is, but it's nice to know that we have Archie sort of coming up as that understudy, and to see him get into goals is certainly a beautiful thing. Like we said earlier, all four Charlotte starting attackers got in the goals, which is beautiful to see. We might as well get into the graphical presentation.
Yeah, I figured we're on the same page. We're on the same
things.
page tonight because that's where I was headed next. I said I bet Danny has a graphic for this.
Yep, and this is what I call the game glance, the game time glance, just the subs, and the ratings of the starters, and also just a little stat sheet. This is sort of the passing and the possession stats, just the tackling, and you can see that Charlotte looking good. Even if you can't really read a lot of those numbers, if you see the green circle, that means we won that stat. And you can see we're winning long balls, we're winning final third passes, we're winning crosses, we're winning, aerial duels, and just Charlotte is dominating. And I think everyone is going to say, oh, it was against 10 men. It was already 2-0 when the red card happened. It was kind of a weird moment. I think the referee first showed yellow, and I think he was like, whoops, I meant to show red and I accidentally showed yellow and just whipped the red card out. It felt like a straight red play. That player was not on a yellow before, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. I really don't care. It was already 2-0, and I already felt like the route was on at that point. I felt like we were going to score more goals against 11 at that point because Charlotte was doing whatever they wanted. And I really love to see everybody coming out with great ratings. Only the luxury player, Jabril Diani, is below a 6.9 here, although Bronico only got a 6.6 as a sub. But Diani as a starter was kind of an interesting choice. We'll hear from Dean in a second about his take on all the player performance reviews. I got kind of a long clip from him in a second. Johnny talking about his lineup choices as well. But you get the floor first, Johnny. It's your show. So before Dean Smith, what do you think about what we're looking at and what you saw out there on Saturday?
Soak it up. You're not going to see something like this again this season. This is absurd when you look at it.
4-8s, 5-8s.
It's just an absolute ridiculous match, and it's club history again. Most goals scored. And will we see it again? Yes, definitely at some point. But the odds of this repeating itself anytime soon are slim to none. So just soak it up. A huge win against a massive rival that puts you in a perfect spot on the table. And I can look across this ratings chart for the first time in a while and say, good on everybody. What a team performance. That's what I would label it as. A classic team performance at home, and
an excellent
that's
team
what this team
performance.
does.
And speaking of K-Dog, one of our favorite commenters, he says Diani got the half assist, so his rating could have been higher. I tend to agree with that. I'll take the game glance down here and just show, the Vargas goal before we hear from Dean about. Let me remove this other one. Sorry. So yeah, the Vargas goal was in a half assist from Diani. You see Diani getting into space and doing something with it. Not the best cross ever, but hey, the defender made a meal of it and Kerwin pounced. I don't really count that as an assist, I guess. But if K-Dog wants to, more power to him.
Yeah, I feel like that play was like very MLS. Just shitty football by the Red Bulls. Really bad defending. It's the type of mistake that you'll see every now and again, maybe at the top levels of soccer, but it's an MLS mistake. It's a mistake that should never happen. It's a gifted second goal. So I think if I'm going to give you a dose of reality in this episode, I'll just give you like a quick shot, right? Gaff of a mistake by the defender there. Red card, and then 4 goals to follow. So really 1-0 Charlotte with 5 goals that are of very interesting circumstances, not open play, not 11-on-11 open play. A huge mistake by a Red Bulls defender, and more goals after the red card. So there's your shot. That's like your dose, but you're not.
I'm going to take your shot. I'm going to take your shot of reality. I'm going to set it on the bar. I'm going to throw it over my shoulder, and I'm going to pick up my surf wax from Burrow.
Exactly.
And kiss the rooftop, baby, because I don't care about the shot of reality. They also scored a goal. We should have also had a Kalina sheet, if you really think about it. But The guys got lazy and let in an easy goal back when it was already 5-0. And, I get it. You let your guard down defensively at that point. We've talked enough. Let's hear from the gaffer. Here's what Dino had to say about it all, some of his player reviews and just some of his lineup choices and whatnot.
I hope he complains about the ref.
Breaking news before I play, just because you said that, we can call an audible here. You just call the beautiful audible. I meant to say this earlier because it's breaking news, Johnny. It is. I listened to the entire Dean Smith press conference, about 9-10 minutes. He did not make one mention of the referees whatsoever. He had no complaints about the Abada offside, which we can look at in a minute when we talk about Liel. He didn't whine about the red card. Somebody said something to him. He even had some invitations. Some of the reporters in the room gave him invitations to criticize refs. He literally, finally, it took a 6-1 victory where the other team had a red card and there were no penalty incidents for finally Dean Smith to not say anything about the referees.
That's good refereeing. Yeah, very, very good refereeing Saturday night.
We want to see more of that. Here's what he wants to see more of, and here's what he did see from the players.
Yeah, excellent set pieces, excellent quality he's got. I thought how he received the ball at times in areas. He turns in one motion at times, which is really helpful for us because he receives the ball in the pockets that we want him to, and it doesn't seem to matter whether there's somebody up against him or not. He seems to get the other side of them, and I thought it was a much better performance from Wilf. I thought he got frustrated last week against Miami. I spoke to him about that. It doesn't help when he keeps getting yellow cards for next to nothing. And he created some really good chances. You can see when him, Pep, Westy link up together, they're on the same wavelength, and the quality he's got to switch play as well. Vargas has got a very good record against New York Red Bull. Scored a couple of times since I've been here already. And I just felt that he was ready for this game. He's looked good in training. He looked good when he came on. And I thought it would be a hectic game, so I wanted a little bit more balance in midfield with a left footer and right footer. We knew that there was going to press us, and there would be space on to play around the corner. It wasn't planned for Kerwin to be offside as many times as he was, and he got him. I did tell him that. But the way they press up, then if you can get the timing right, especially with a little bit of a switch of play, then you could get in. And that was one of the things that we'd worked on during the week, yeah. I thought Westwood was excellent today. He was probably my man of the match today. I thought he was, the way he handled the ball, the way he snuffed out danger, just really good, the way he pressed. And as I said before, he's our leader, but he's also an example to players as well of having a good career by doing the right things, knowing what you're good at, but also being very good at the basics, and he's very good at that.
A lot to unpack there, Johnny.
Like him talking about the captain and giving credit to, I think, the leader of this team. It feels like there's a club after a match like this surrounding the captain. That's something that Ashley Westwood needs at this point in his career. I think he needs the pieces around him, and with him at the centerpiece, exactly right. With him at the centerpiece of all of this, it works.
Yeah. It's nice to see the captain pull the strings. It's nice to see all the attackers deliver. We talked about Vargas's goal, a little bit of luck. We showed the Zaha. Here's the Pep goal, which again I said this was great because this was not on a camera that I saw, but I saw this written down and tweeted post game where Westwood said, I really fancied this one, and when the foul happened, I said to Pep, I fancy it. Can I take it? And Pep said, yeah. But then I looked at it again. And I thought, he might be able to sneak it past that post. Why don't you take it, Pep? So that's just the captain stepping up in a subtle, sort of unspoken way that you don't see. Keeper could have done better, but I just felt Pep was going to score that one, and he did. It felt beautiful. And then Morrison putting Pep on the back. I mean, that moment right there, that's just such a cool image, I think. Like Pep's really kind of put this team on his back, in my mind. But I love the fact that Morrison was just like, hop on up, buddy. It was great.
We've talked about Morrison Aljamaang at length on the show, and yeah, this is good vibes. He's somebody that is bringing physicality to the team, bringing intimidation to the team, and you know what those qualities do in a player, Danny? They give your creators room to be themselves. It's like
Yeah.
Morris and Ajamong can be Pep Biel's bouncer for the rest of the season. Because I'll tell you one thing, you don't want to fuck with that guy. He's
No.
huge. And he's protecting his number 10 in this situation. That's what Pep Biel is for this club. And to see that relationship, I think, is maybe a window into the vibes that are happening right now. Vibes are good.
Well, it's togetherness. It's togetherness is something Dean always wanted. Pep also was able to contribute before he got his own goal. He had the assist. He had the assist on the first goal. As we call that up now, we're getting in dangerous territory here with the YouTube pause button. We're not getting kicked off. It's just a pause button they might hit us with. But this is Toklamati. He contributed in multiple ways. He drew the foul that set up Pep's free kick goal. He drew the foul that I believe Kerwin Vargas drew the foul that set up this set piece. But Pep's a set piece wizard. You heard Dean talking about him. And Westwood can do these things with a set piece also, but this was nice. It was really nice to get this. This goal really set the tone. 15 minutes are in, and Charlotte's on the attacking front foot. Johnny, I felt like we controlled the first 25 minutes really well, and then New York Red Bulls sort of had a wave where they came back and got a little bit of possession, a little bit of joy late first half, even though they were down 1-0 at the time. And then when Kerwin was able to score off that and pounce on that horrible mistake right off the bat of the second half, that's really where the tone did finally shift, and Charlotte kind of turned the screw on the match. So it was pretty even up till then, but it was nice to be up 1-0 throughout a cagey first half after Toklamati puts on the score sheet.
Great point. And I had a phenomenal angle of that goal, and it was I remember there's moments on this show that kind of stick with me sometimes, and I think this is the perfect example of something that Roman Harper told us about Idon Toklamati. Roman Harper, one of my favorite guests that we've ever had on Charlotte or on Charlotte Soccer Show and now Soccer City. He said that when he went and saw this match, and he goes to these games, it's Idon is the guy that wants it the most. He wants to get up, and I made the comparison to him at the time when we had him on the show, Danny. I was like, he high points the football. And that's what he's doing here.
He's tall. He's taller than everyone right there in that moment.
Yes, but the data doesn't say that. There's guys that are taller than him surrounding him or equal in height to him, and he's the one that's up high. He knows how to time his jumps, and this Toklamati is a great finisher in the air, Danny. He's really good. And I think Roman, who obviously did not play soccer, played professional football, knows what it looks like to be a dominant athlete within a group of other athletes. And the fact that jumped off the page to Roman, I was like, man, look at it. We're seeing it again here. What a great goal.
I mean, ball knowers know ball. For all that you can say about other players that you might think when you look at them physically or on paper that maybe this guy should be really good in the air, Idon maybe doesn't necessarily fit that profile of the classic big striking dude in the air. But he gets up and he wants it more than anybody else, and he's so fun to watch. He scores a lot of headed goals, Johnny. So he wins aerial duels. He won the header, the flick on. Did you watch the BWP episode last week, by the way, pre-match?
Yeah.
Did you hear the conversation we had about the flick on from last week? But because that came up again because Bradley had highlighted that organically. That's not something that I had teed him up on. He said it. So then I had to dive deeper into it and double down on it. But contributing in multiple ways defines Idon Toklamati because he's always thinking, he's drawing fouls that create free kick opportunities in dangerous spots, and just absolute excellence from Idon. It's a beautiful thing to see. And I feel good knowing that this is a guy we know is going to be here at least through the end of this year, and probably even if he starts to continue this meteoric rise he's having and does start to draw that attention from overseas, he's still going to be here at least through this, through the first half of next year. So we're going to get to enjoy Idon Toklamati a long time is what I'm trying to say.
I hope so. I mean, but you know how Charlotte is when they get a good striker. They like to jack up his price and move him on.
Yeah, that's what they do. Selling club. They're a selling club. What do you think about Wilf getting no yellow card? Football Edits is in the chat. Thanks for jumping in, Football Edits. We love you. You had brought this up last week, Johnny. This was your stratagem that you would have liked to see deployed about Zaha getting the yellow this game so he'd miss the Philly game. Didn't happen. Now he's got to play Philly clean so that he doesn't miss Nashville. What do you think?
It's gonna be a grimy game against Philadelphia. 0-5. Team doesn't have a win coming to Charlotte. They're going to be either rolled on over like this. Heck, maybe we will see that.
Yeah.
Those ratings again against the worst team in the East right now, which is hard to
winless,
believe.
0-5. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, hard to believe.
Yeah,
and I think it's every game that passes just delays the inevitable. So it's just like a matter of it's like the yellow card lottery at this point. Which game will Wilfred Zaha miss? Although I'm sure the yellows do reset at some point in the season. I need to look at that rule because I don't know that rule. Maybe our friends over in PR can let us know what that
they
rule
do
is.
reset. I think if you go 5 straight clean, then I think one of them comes off your record. I believe that's the rule. Based on some research when Ashley Westwood had this issue going on the last few seasons.
Okay, we need this. I love that, Danny, by the way, because that truly is, and I mean this seriously. I mean, that is really the game within the game. Like playing for no yellow cards because you're trying to make it 5 games so you can get one rescinded and not miss a match. Because in my humble opinion, like missing matches is unacceptable. That's a discipline issue. Yeah, and it shouldn't happen.
Are you talking about regular season matches, Johnny, or playoff matches? Anyway, I got the league at a glance up here. This is just a little thing I'm going to keep putting up, even though I promise we are not table watching. We're not trying to project anything with this. But
I'm table watching.
We're looking at who's doing what. All right, Johnny, you table watch all you want, baby. But what I went over when I was talking to Bradley about this, and it really comes into clearer focus with this result now too, is just like the extremes of Charlotte's schedule. We got first place Nashville, second place New York. We got last place Philly, then first place Nashville, then second place New York, then third to last Orlando. Just like we play the best and worst teams here over this next stretch of the season. And we got an international break. We got 2 weeks till the next match day. Time to sort of take stock of where things are. I don't know for sure. Someone can check me on this one. We can get research on this. I don't know if this is Charlotte's best ever start through 5 matches. It feels like it might be. And considering that I was pushing the panic button, 3 weeks ago, to come out with, win, draw, win is pretty nice for Charlotte. And I like where we're sitting, Johnny.
Well, what this graphic does specifically is just show you how ridiculous it is to be that high in the East with 2 wins and 5. And the only way that happens is if you learn to love the draw, because those 2 points are really working hard for you here.
Yeah, and you'd be down fighting out of playoff position without them.
So that's ultimately what the goal is this year for the club, is to chip away in order to vault yourself from that 7th spot, from that 6th spot, maybe from that 8-9 spot, and use those points specifically on the road to get you some space, to get you some points, and that's what this team is doing. You can get another 3 against Philadelphia. You got a chance for 3 against Nashville, and in that situation, who, by the way, is obviously a great team, but I put up Charlotte against anybody at home. And then you ultimately go onto the road against NYCFC, and you say to yourself, yeah, I'd take a draw.
Yeah, of course. On the road at Yankee Stadium, I would for sure take a draw.
Yeah, hey, I'll take a draw.
We got a draw. Yeah, we drew against them last time and won in penalties up there, right, in Game 2 of the playoffs, if I remember right. So, they're you know what they're doing, Johnny. You know what they're doing, and I hate this. I hate the fact that they're doing this, but you know what they're doing? They're calling Sam Surridge in Nashville the Honky Tonk Holland.
Oh my!
The Honky Tonk Holland, because he can't stop scoring. But that's for another day, Johnny. I want to go back to this match now a little bit, just to talk about how much of a surprise this was for me, because people were asking me before the game, what's your prediction? Our good friend Justin from the Queen City Soccer Show, big hot fly pre-partier in our crew. We love him. Good to see you, Justin, as always. Good to see you here in the chat as well. Thanks for
he brings up like something that's pretty big news, is that Griezmann has signed with Orlando.
I don't think he'll be there in time for the match against us. I think he's a summer. He's after that Atletico season ends, I think. But I could double check me on that. But I think he's a free transfer after Atletico season ends.
Well, Atletico is still in the midst of a Champions League run. They're in the quarterfinals. I mean, Griezmann's not leaving that.
No. Yeah. So I don't think we have to worry about facing Orlando with Griezmann this time here, but maybe for the next time we face them.
Yeah. Yeah. Griezmann is definitely leaving the Champions League quarterfinals to come play for fucking Orlando.
Does Griezmann know that Orlando's horrible and just fired their coach? I don't know. Like,
has Griezmann ever been to Orlando?
So I don't get that, because we can talk about this. Thanks, Justin, for bringing it up, because this is a great this is a topic that's like league wide and Charlotte specific and everything. Like,
yeah, but I kind of feel bad though, because you were going to tell a story about how
we got plenty of time. It's Monday night, baby. Shit. I just wish if I could train my cat to go get me a beer out of the fridge, I'd be doing a lot better. But no, Griezmann. So the rumors of Griezmann was coming to Orlando before the season, or like early in the season, and then they had like this horrendous start and fired their coach, and I was like, oh, I guess he's not coming now since they're horrible. And then it was like, oh, he's here and it's officially done. And I was like, what? Like he's coming in summer. And I was like, that's so wild to me that like he still came after the initial linkage reports. What happened between then and the sort of the Tom Bogert, it's going to happen, you believe it now because he reported it type of thing. Really strange to me. Anyway, the surprise of that match was that I predicted a loss. As sad as it is, Johnny, and I might have been, a little bit tipsy and emotional when it happened, but I predicted, I was like, we're probably going to, I just feel the loss coming today. And then we came out and had that effort. So I'm thinking, how did this happen? How did we do so good? How did we outperform expectations and be the best version of ourselves, to use the modern therapy speak, to sort of just obliterate this rival opponent and put everyone's fears and concerns to rest early on? Well, Dean had a secret weapon, John. I don't know if you know what it was, but Dean has been busting out the old video vault this week. I don't know if you'd heard this story. I don't know if anyone in the comments has heard this or not, but Dean's busting out the old movies, and we're not talking about those movies. But we were talking about some other clips that he made sure the players got to watch this week.
I've done a video on Wednesday with them, just of one that I've had for 4 or 5 years of the Klopp and Guardiola teams of 19, 20, 21, that when they were getting 100 points, 90 points, and winning Premier Leagues and challenging each other, and just how hard the top players work without the ball, just as a reminder to do the basics. And we got a good show from the players for that.
He showed us that video, I think just to show that they're at the top of the world for their positions, and he wants us to engrave that in our game, win our battles, be an aggressive team, and just win everything, be on the front foot at all times. And I think tonight that showed the boys. It lifted us. We're winning our battles, 1v1s. We're stepping into battles and just getting on the front foot.
We'll leave it to the Scousers in the audience. Did we look like vintage Liverpool out there putting that beat down on Red Bulls? I don't know. What do you think, Johnny?
It's an interesting comparison. It just has me thinking. You're talking about Sadio Mane. You're talking about Mo Salah. You're talking about Firmino as well. You're talking about players that are Champions League winners in 2019 specifically. You're talking about players who lifted the Champions League trophy. So what he's done is he's effectively said, like, hey, look what these guys are doing at the highest level. So the expectation is for y'all to do that here. And I think that's a pretty straightforward message, and it's great management. It's great team management, but it's also good man management, because you're basically challenging every individual to do it.
Yeah. And you know how it is. You go to school and, you show up and your teacher's like, hey, it's movie day. Here's some film.
Yes.
Let's watch some classics. You might as well learn from you got to show some film. If you're going to earn your keep as a manager, you got to show the boys something, right? You might as well show them the best of the best for them to learn from, for sure. The funny thing is, though, John, is he wasn't done. Dino was not done. He actually, not only did he want the boys to learn from the lessons that Klopp was deploying out onto the pitch through that Liverpool film, he also took some lessons himself from Jurgen and deployed them himself in his own game.
And then also I noticed in the pre-match, and you just all throughout the year, you kind of just watch the other squad most of the time. What are you doing? What are you looking at? What are you looking for?
To be honest, I saw their coach watching ours, and it's an old trick that Jurgen Klopp used to do. You know, and I know now he's an advisor for Red Bull, so I thought, well, I'll just watch them as well then.
Oh, Dino.
He's talking about Michael Bradley, who's the Red Bulls manager. It's first season as manager. Really, first time he's. Is this the first time he's managing in an MLS club?
Yeah. He got coaching experience while he was still a player. He worked with his dad at the Norwegian club where they were, you know, so he kind of got his licenses, and he's very much accelerated his coaching career and was doing well enough in some lower divisions and coached Red Bull 2, I believe. I believe he was the coach of Red Bull 2 last year. Check me on that. But he just, they fast-tracked him for sure for this position, I feel. But he earned it.
It's
Captain America.
Yes, I think Michael Bradley's great. I mean, he's one of my. When I think about the United States men's national team, I think about, speaking about work rate. Speaking of a guy that can work off the ball, that's Michael Bradley for you in a nutshell. But anyway, it's really interesting this is Dino going into his bag, right? Dino is going into his bag, and what he's saying is, I've worked with these people, I've coached against these people, I've been at the highest level of the sport, and I'm going to connect myself to it. I'm going to show you what my experience is, and because what I say, you need to take seriously, because these are players and coaches that I've rubbed shoulders with, and just absolutely remarkable, really, when I think about it. He's somebody that's this, and these are the moments where he is after a 6-1, flex him.
Flex him, yeah. Flex on him, baby. Yeah, the one barely even, who even remembers? It might as well have been 6-2 or 6-0. Who cares? John, one of the best things about Soccer City, one of the reasons I love living in Soccer City, one of the reasons I don't ever plan to leave Soccer City, John, is because we got the best soccer citizens in the world. Shout out to K-Dog for verifying, yes, Michael Bradley was RB2 coach. I appreciate that. And shout out to Abram Kuchecki. One of the best hardcore drummers out there in the entire Charlotte FC fan base, who makes this great point. And I didn't think about this, but this is why the memory of a fan base is so great to just bring into these conversations that we're having, because you remember when Christian Latanzio said, we're not Real Madrid. You know, what do you expect me to be, Real Madrid with these players? And, you know, everyone's like, well, you know, we know that, but don't say it to our face. You know, no one respected that. And you could say he lost the fan base in that moment almost, if he hadn't lost them up till then. I really feel like that's true. So to have Dino out here showing the guys videos of Manchester City and Liverpool vintage when they're the best teams in the world, and showing them that's the example you do need to aspire to, you know, like whatever players he's given, he wants them to play like they are Liverpool. And I think that is such a great contrast. We don't need trust me, we're far past the time where we need to defend Dean Smith's reputation versus Christian Latanzio's, but it is a striking contrast, and I appreciate him for pointing it out.
Yeah, we've run the entire spectrum from we're screwed, my roster sucks, to we're getting better, but we're not Real Madrid.
Yeah, yes.
To let's look at Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool and try to model our effort in our game after them. That's the proper way to do it, right? We've gone from the wrong way to do it to the right way to do it, and you've seen it played out. You've seen it play out right in front of your face here over the last 6 years.
Yeah, and it's looking good. It's a beautiful thing to be a Charlotte FC fan. Again, we're table watching here now and just looking at. It's nice to be in the top four. You know, top four is a trophy, as Arsene Wenger taught me long ago. And it may only be in the Eastern Conference, but it is nice to be in the top four and to have a team that has a fighting chance. And right now, it looks like the West is way better than the East in MLS. So I think the mission right now is just win the East. And yeah, we got blown out in LA, and we stumbled out of the gate against St. Louis. But right now, things are hopping. And if we can look really strong against Philadelphia, and there's a really good chance, I need to double check it, but like the Charlotte Nashville game is going to be like a top 3, top 2 East showdown, depending on other results, with Miami and New York up to then. But even so, it's a clash of the Titans potentially if Charlotte takes care of business against Philly.
Yeah, let's go. Let's start. Yeah, we got to take care of Philly first, and let's start hyping up that match, the battle of Eastern Conference Titans. Charlotte versus Nashville. What's that trophy called that we played for? The Southern Trophy. What is it?
The Southern Belt. Yeah,
The Southern Belt. The
Yeah,
Southern Belt.
yeah.
Nashville, Charlotte, Atlanta. Is DC involved with that, or is it who's the fourth? I don't know what the trophy is. I don't know if it's real or not. I know that it's been every year.
I'm drawing a
people say-
blank on it. Yeah, I feel bad. I know somebody knows, and I feel stupid for not knowing. So I'm gonna just take the L on that one. But I do. It's like the Southern something, and it's Nashville, us, Atlanta, and I think DC. I don't think we include the Florida teams. Florida's its own country. It's not part of the South, right? So I like Bronico, Reverend Burrows propping in. Of course, one of the number one Bronico stands out there who says Bronico is our James Milner in the Klopp Lake system. Just to tie the bow on that point. I don't know. That might be simping and fanboying a little bit. I got two more things I want to get to, Johnny, if you got the time, if the fans got the time. One is just Abada, real quickly. He's doing the things that he's trying to do.
It's great, phenomenal analysis, Danny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, you saw him outrun everybody to get that assist for Archie on the second goal, and here he's ruled offside on what he thought was a goal, and he was ready to go nuts. He wants it so bad, and I don't know. I was surprised Dean didn't comment on this because it was close. You see the flag, but I mean, it's tough. This is again, you're not going to get anything from this angle, but it looks fairly close to me. It looks like maybe he's being kept on side, but got ruled off pretty quickly.
I'm telling you, Dean really did miss an opportunity to go into the press conference and just rail on the referees for this decision at the end of the match. That truly would have been the end of the bit. So I as happy as I am that this match went well and things are strong, man, that would have been really commitment to the bit, and that's what we're all about. If you're gonna have a bit, you got to commit to the bit.
If you're gonna criticize the refs in the close games, you got to criticize them in the blowouts too, Dean. I mean, come on, I think that's pretty obvious for sure. And this would have been lucky 7. This would have been pretty nice. Instead, it's the touchdown with the returned extra point the other way, like you said, which I thought was hilarious when you said that. But it's unfortunate. He wanted it. You could. I think Abada's doing the things. I think Abada's gonna be okay.
Justin, who you mentioned earlier, checking back in and says, this is the energy that we need. He missed the linesman. I mean, come on, the linesman can't even get the job done. I don't trust their vision at all. I don't either. I think we gotta get him a doctor's appointment, see if he needs LASIK, because the freaking linesmen don't even know how to referee offsides in this league. Danny, MLS,
it's
these referees.
It's unfortunate. Yeah. If I say more, I cannot speak.
I can't.
If I say more, I'll get fined. The other thing to talk about, I think now is, I don't know if we will ever truly wring every single talking point we can out of a beautiful historic 6-0 victory, but I did want to sort of look to the future in this bye week, which is an international window. And John, we're 3 months out from World Cup, less than 3 months, and Tim Ream's going to the camp, and a lot of Tim Ream was one of the guys that spoke post game. He got asked a lot of questions about the U.S. men's national team. So I thought we'd take a few minutes here at the end of the show and just get a little into some U.S. men's national stuff. I want to play one short soundbite from Ream that's pretty funny. And then I got a longer one. Then I'll get some reaction from you. Then I got a longer one where he gets really introspective that I really would love to get your comments on. So this is kind of funny first. He's asked about reuniting with former Charlotte FC man Patrick Agyemang at the U.S. camp upcoming here.
Are you looking forward to catching up with Pat or anybody else specifically on the team?
No, absolutely not. I can't think of anybody worse than catching up with Pat. No, seriously, honestly, been watching.
Funny Tim, funny guy, pretty funny moment there, What do you think, But it's nice to see a player.
It's
with a
how it
sense of
should be.
humor.
It's the banter. It's the old guy and the young buck. Tim's been in that USMNT changing room for quite a while now, and Pat's the new kid on the block. So yeah, it's all love for sure. And I think Agyemang, I won't ever forget the playoff match against Orlando when Mauricio Pochettino showed up to watch Pat in that game. That's when I knew it was real. And I think Tim Ream played a big part in that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like Ream's presence on the team brought extra interest at the people who needed to be watching Pat at that time. I totally agree. So just kind of a fortunate confluence of events in that case. Hopefully it pays off. We will talk about Agyemang.
Tough loss though, not to bring it up. Tough loss.
Yeah, of course, obviously. But so then they asked Ream about just sort of like his place in the camp, whether he feels like being on the team, this March squad, means he's definitely going to be playing in the Cup. How he feels, what his role is on this squad. Because you and I have talked about, as U.S. fans, do we really want Tim Ream, running after all the fastest strikers in the world in the summer heat in the United States? I'm not sure, but I do love everything. Every time Tim Ream opens his mouth, I respect and like him a lot more. This is a good example. Strap in. It's about 2 minutes, but listen to this. This is a good clip.
You go in and you do what your role is. You play what your role is and what your job is, and again, you play within a team. It's a team game, and for me, it's about doing whatever's asked of you to then make it to a World Cup. I've said it so many times over the past year and a half. There's nothing guaranteed in this sport. There's nothing guaranteed with the World Cup, and just because you're in, March camp doesn't mean that you're going to make it to a World Cup. You have to go in and you have to be a good teammate. You have to be, do the things that are being asked on the field, do the things that are being asked of you off the field, being a good teammate, like I said, making sure that you're connected with the group. That's a big thing with Maurizio is being connected and, being yourself, and contributing in all the little ways and all the big ways. And then you give yourself, the chance to be a part of the World Cup. But until that May roster is announced, you're not a part of anything. So you have to go in and prove it all over again.
Has
Best of luck in
Mauricio,
Orlando.
Thank you.
has Mauricio voiced these things to you about leadership and, being, part of essentially his staff on the pitch as well, or, in training?
No, it's one of those that it's just a natural thing. He has so many little conversations with so many, all the players really, and understanding, where they are in their careers and their clubs and their lives. And, I go in there and I'm myself. I do there what I do here. And so, it's not, oh, hey, you're my eyes and ears on the field. It's, hey, you're a player within a team. This is what we need you to do. So, no, listen, it's the same with everybody. We try to do what we can do to help the team win. And that just so happens to be my thing when I go in there.
And he seems to appreciate those aspects of what you brought to it.
I hope so. If not, then I guess I'm doing something else really, really good. Yeah, listen,
So it's a long clip, but I thought it's a fascinating introspective look at where the U.S. men's national team is. I sort of felt like I was in the locker room there a little bit listening to Tim.
If I could sum it up, it's right in line with Maurizio Pochettino and his managerial philosophy. I think his leadership philosophy is like you'll be able to do the big thing if you can do all the little things. If you can't do all the little things, you're never going to be able to do the big thing. And I think it's ultimately what Tim was saying. I think that he's clearly a reflection of the manager, and he's a great veteran for the Crown to have. And whether he can do it on a 90-degree day in Dallas, by the way, man, that was dirty work putting that comment up from Abram during that press conference.
I know, I felt bad. I took it down. I felt bad.
Yeah, it was dirty work. I don't, I wouldn't agree with that. I think
it was a little strong, Abram. It was a little strong. I'm not going to put it back up again, but it was a little strong.
I think I would put it this way: it's like if the U.S. plays very poorly at the World Cup, it's going to be Tim Ream's going to be the least of the issue.
Yeah, I think he's clearly on. I think he's clearly on the squad in June.
Of course,
we call it, this is the March window, and you look just a little sort of. This is my USMNT World Cup at a glance graphic as we see the group and the upcoming friendlies before the Cup and who's in this March camp for the Belgium and Portugal matches. You see Patrick Aguemong, you see Tim Ream, you don't see Luca Della Torre. I don't know if Luca's going to get there in time, unfortunately, but I do like Luca's game. But I don't know. I think when I look at this defender list, when you look at like who are the center backs, right now I think it's like Ream's one of 3 guys fighting for 2 spots. Really,
Well,
I mean, with you know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I think it's already decided. I think it's Chris Richards and I think it's Miles Robinson. I've made my decision as a manager.
Okay.
That's my center back pairing coming into the World Cup with Tim Ream, the veteran backup, willing and able to step into either one of those positions. Miles Robinson having a phenomenal year with FC Cincinnati. Really like the way he's looked so far this season. And Chris Richards, of course, class at Crystal Palace.
And Austin Trusty's not bad either. You know, Arsenal DNA on Austin Trusty as well as Colorado Rapids DNA, but now playing for Celtic. I don't know. Abram has apologized, so there you go. That's good.
Well, no,
And,
he doesn't have to apologize. The comment was fine. It was the dirty work to put it on screen while he was talking.
Always blame me. It's my fault. It's not the commenter's fault. Keep the comments coming. Say whatever you want. I agree. It was the timing was more the issue. Yeah.
This is a great comment from our friend Matt Geslin, who took some phenomenal photos. Make sure you check out our Instagram page this week. It's hard not to agree with this. Like it's like it's bad. It's pretty bad. I think that there's like a really top side here in the forward position, but the goalkeeper position is a big question mark. Defense doesn't feel very strong. The good news is, though, in order to get out of the group, keep your 13 guys that are going to play healthy, and you've got to get a chance to get through.
I mean, Weston McKennie's crushing it in Juventus. You know, Weston. I feel very good about
damn
building
right he
midfield
is.
Backbone again with Weston McKennie. And,
Weston McKennie's an absolute baller, one of the best players on the team.
And I understand that World Cups are defensive and they're a tentative game, and you got to sort of get out of group, and you don't want to give anything away. But we're gonna have to score goals. I don't think U.S. is gonna shut down. Is gonna go and shut down some of these great nations. They're gonna have to go try to play toe-to-toe. Even though I also agree with the take that like the U.S. needs to return to its like scrappier, we're going to out hustle you roots, and when they had better results with less talent but more hustle. Like, I do sort of agree with that take. At the same time, I think we're going to have to go out there and play some attacking front foot soccer. And shout out to Kiefer, who Arsenal DNA again for Florian Balogun, who scored 7 straight matches. Good for him. Not bad. He may be the one keeping Patrick Agyemang on the bench. Agyemang, I'm so glad he's in the camp. I really hope he makes the World Cup squad. I don't know if he's going to start. I could see him maybe starting a 3rd group stage game or something. We'll see. But he may do it. I wouldn't have put it past him, but we'll see.
I sent you a podcast episode last week that I really enjoyed about this equal time rule.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share this comment to prove that Soccer City is an equal time broadcast, because Football Edits does make a good point here. If Tim Ream doesn't start at the World Cup, we're fucked. Equal time for both sides here.
Isn't that what makes a good, entertaining show that's worth watching or listening to? Is just 2 opposing viewpoints. And these are like true. Like, the thing about, like, people say, I'm so sick of hot take TV. I'm so sick of hot take TV. It's not bad when the takes are organic and lead generated and come from like an actual real life conversation. When hot take TV gets bad and useless and dangerous to the discourse is when it's all manufactured and nonsense and like BS that no one should care about, and like this is like hot takes that I'm loving. Like, we're fucked if he starts, we're fucked if he doesn't, and it's coming from 2 people that both love Charlotte SC. That's what it's all about,
Yes, I couldn't say it better myself. It's ultimately when, I don't even need to add anything to that, Danny. That was very well said. And
well, then let's do this.
It's been a phenomenal show. I've had a ton of fun chatting with you. Yeah. I've had a great time. Really hanging out with the commenters as well. Love the tremendous friends of the show, our TFOs, our TFOS, day ones. Let's go. Are we going to go on a little photo? This is a cool
little photo tour. You mentioned Geslin's photo, so I want to show off some of his work on the stream here. We are going to post some of these on the IG. We need to do a better job of it, but people may not know that Matt Geslin's out there taking photos for us every week at every home game. Great shot of Zaha there. And, this is some of the early game photos. And you see he eventually we get to a point where there's there's Kerwin taking the foul. You know, he's down, sets up Pep taking the free kick, and there's Toklamati. You know, Matt's a great photographer, and we are very blessed to have him shooting for us and sharing stuff. All of our photos that we use for the thumbnails and things like that, we use his photos, and we should post more on IG, and we will.
Yeah, that was sick. I mean, it's really cool to see just how those kits specifically too. Those kits in that light with that backdrop. I mean, it was just. It was a very good night for shooting, and those pictures came out phenomenally well.
Yeah, yes. Let me show you. Just since you said that, this is one that Matt particularly loves himself. Was just a close up. This is a great kit. This is a great kit. I hope that like when the kits are remembered, 10, 15 years from now, that this Black Fortress kit with the blue stripe and the inlay of the tines really gets remembered as an all time classic. I love it. One of my faves.
It's cool. It represents exactly what the club is, and that's what kits are supposed to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, indeed. You know it. Shout out. I saw a sick kit. France, speaking of the World Cup, France is going to wear this kit in the United States matches that they play that is tinted sort of the rust color of the Statue of Liberty as a nod to like their gift of the Statue of Liberty to the United States.
Very cool.
Years ago, so, yeah.
You love it. These are the type of that's the type of storytelling that a sports writer tries to dig up around an event like this. No story will go left untold this summer at the World Cup because it's all meaningful. So many national teams coming to the United States, coming to Canada, coming to Mexico, playing in the World Cup for the first time in a while, maybe even playing for the first time ever in a World Cup with this expanded field. I think it's going to be a brilliant showcase of soccer, and the more the merrier for me.
It's been a while since I sang a song on the show, John, so let me just channel Neil Diamond and say, "They're coming to North America. Da-na-na-na-na-na. They're coming North America." It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
It is. I'm going to do an episode with you before the next match, and the reason why is because it's a high vibes show right now, and that's a good thing. It's always good to have a high vibes show, but I want to know what it feels like a week from now. I want to know what it feels like heading into the Philadelphia match, after this international break, and see where the vibes are at then, because this is all for naught. If the club lays a stinker against Philadelphia, you can't do that. It's a big match coming up at home at this point early in the season. It's great to see you, Danny. Charlotte versus Philadelphia Union, Saturday, April 4th, Easter weekend. Cheers to you, Danny. It's a pleasure seeing you on the show tonight. And as always,
it's for the crown, baby.